What's your favorite rapper that starts with Lil?
Which one died most recently?
I'm gonna try to get sturdy one more time because I didn't do it last time. What scene in the Boys in the Hood movie made you cry the most and most emotional?
No, I didn't see it. Were they shooting each other?
Yeah, they were.
Why would I be crying at that movie? You must remember, the Klan is the original Boys in the Hood.
What's your favorite rapper that starts with Lil?
Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakal Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well and do well. Citations to the Akim in the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through their father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yehowadah with the lesson. And yeah, so as you can see, I showed you that thing, you know, it was showing this racist Edomite, self-proclaimed so-called white man, and he's showing you who they've always been and who they're always going to be until Obadiah 1 and 18, right? All right, so it says this is Genesis 25 and 25 for the first, right? Because you got to know where this man began from, right? The first came out red, right? And the self-proclaimed so-called white man is not white, he's red, right? Or a derivative of red, right? Some of them are really red, some of them are pink, they're peachish color, right? But they're red, right? Coming out of the mother's womb as a baby, red all over. Like, right? Like, not, you know, the exact same thing. It's saying like giving you a reference to something that's familiar. Like in hairy garment. Not that they're hairy, but it's like in hairy garment. And they called his name Esau, which is a Shashua, which means wasted away. So who's pale? What babies came out all pale, shit, wasted away, with their pigment wasted away, because every other nation is dark. Every other nation has an intense amount of melanin. But there's one nation on the planet that comes out wasted away and red all over, and they're like that all of their days, right? Yeah, this is Exodus 26 and 13, and it says a cubit on one side and a cubit on the other side, of which remaineth in the length, right? The length, which is basically, you see it's talking about a garment of the curtains. Yeah, the curtains is a garment, right? Of the tent, it shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, and well, not and Slakia. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side, and on the side it cover it, and thus shall make a covering for the tent of ram skin dyed red, right? Going into what a like and hairy garment, right? A ram has like fur or whatever, hair, whatever you want to call it, but it came off the ram. And if you dye it red, it's like an hairy garment, right? And the covering above of badger skin, right? Yeah, come back here to Genesis 25, and now it's 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on a Joshua hill, or Esau's hill, right? Which Joshua means wasted away. It doesn't mean hairy, right? It means wasted away. So wasted away, pale skin, wasted away, and what red, like an hairy garment, right? And took hold on Joshua's hill, and his name was called Yaquab, right? Because there was no J's in the Paleo Hebrew. There's no J's in the actual Hebrew, right? A lot of these vowels and vas and e's and whatever they be trying to do in this Yiddish Hebrew, which they call Hebrew, which is not really Hebrew, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was Yaquab, right? So they're describing, because Yaquab means supplanter. So each kid, when he came out, they gave them the name of what was, what happened, basically, the thing that occurred. So when Isaac seen Esau, or a Joshua wasted away, right? Pale skin, but he was red all over, like a hairy garment. They didn't describe Jacob. The description of Jacob is, he's holding his heel, so we're going to call him Yaquab, which means supplanter. So they, But it was all spiritual. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bore them. Right? Talking about his wife, when his wife, had the babies. Yeah, so this is 2 Esdras chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? So what should be the end times? So this is Esdras, Ezra, right? Speaking to an angel, saying, what should be the end of the world, but not the end of the entire habitable earth, but the world as it's known, like the rulership. So he's gonna break down what's gonna happen of the asundering of this rulership, right? It says, or when shall be the end of the first, right? That first rulership, and the beginning of it that followeth. So here's the angel. Now the angel speaking to Esdras, and he said unto me, right, which is the angel speaking to him, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born. So we just read that when Jacob was born, when Jacob and Esau was born, Esau came out first, and it was a Joshua. When Jacob came out, they just were saying, he's holding his heel, so that's Yaquab, or he's being like a supplanter, tripping them up, like in a sense, and that's ultimately what you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, especially those that come back to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and truth and sincerity. That's exactly what we're doing. We're tripping this thing up, man. Because they can't imagine some niggas, some spicks, and some drunk ass Indians to be actually the children of the Most High, right? That we're turning from the ways that they gave us, and turning back to the ways of our fathers, to the way of the Father, which is the Most High, Yahweh, man. Through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, right? And he said, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob hand held fast the heel of Esau. So now he's going to go into that exchanging of power, or with the end of the sundering of that first power, which Esau will be it's going to say, for Esau is the end of the world. So that world power that's right now, at the end of days, where we're at now in the time of judgment, And this is why they hate you so much, right? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So what, you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, the ones who come back and realize you're Israelites and you're not black, you're not Hispanic, you're not Native Indian, you're not the land of wood and water, right? You're not Jamaican, you're not a holy dog, you're not Dominican, right? You're not what's that thing? I'm Colombian. You're from Christopher Columbus, because Colombia is named after Christopher Columbus. So you're not a Christopher Columbus or Colombian. You know what I mean? You're not none of these things, right? You're not Mexican. You're not Native American or Indian, right? You're the children of the Most High Power God, man, who's going to rule with a rod of iron upon this world, these heathens, man, and who's going to judge the entire world, including you Israelites, man, right? So you got to be afraid. So the Lord said, the hand of a man is betwixt the hill, right? Between the hill, the hand of a man is between the hill. So he's saying, hey, look, this thing symbolizes his hand being on his hill, symbolizes them, the Israelites, you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, tripping up this self-proclaimed so-called white man, which is really red, right? Like the Bible's just said, he's red all over like a hairy garment, right? And that's not the only reason I call him, because of the pottage, right? That's when they call him Edom, right? We have to get that, because but yeah, tripping him up, hand between the man, it's between the hand of the man is betwixt the hill and the hand, right? Oh yeah. And other questions Esdras asks thus not. So that symbolizes what we're gonna take him down through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So we'll go back to Genesis 25 and 27, and the boys grew, right? Jacob and Esau, or Esau and Jacob, and Esau was a cunning hunter, right? So giving you the traits, right? Because earlier it said they will be two separate nations and two manner of people, right? Right. So their mannerisms is different. So Esau was a cunning hunter. That's his mannerism. A man of the field, right? Going out into the world and hunting, doing all sorts of different things, right? And Jacob, right? The one who was born last, who handheld fast the hill of Esau, right? Who you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, who's your forefather, who the angel was telling Esdras that what? Between his hand and his hill is going to be their downfall, and then your uprising as the next kingdom to rule, and this time it's going to be forever and ever and even forever, right? So it's a lot to fight for, and it's a good reason for the Edomites to hate you and to be afraid of you, technically, you know. So it says, and Jacob was a plain man, just simple, cool, and look at you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. Everything you do is just simple. The simple things of life make you happy, right? You happy just chilling at the house, drinking, playing some oldies or whatever, and y'all talking that make y'all smile. You know, you go, oh, I'm going to the next freaking hunt to go out there and go. You know what I mean? Not to say there ain't no jakes that do go out and hunt here and there, but for the most part, right? Our thing is to be a plain man, dwelling in tents, man. Your tent means what, your house, your crib, your hood, right? Your neighborhood, you know? That's what we do, right? But Esau, yeah. And so it was speaking of the mannerism, cunning hunter, their mannerism, a man of the field. And these are the things that makes Esau happy, enjoying. Look, see? Look at all these Edomites. Look at this. Edomite, or Esau, right? Even the little kids. Even the little Esau, Edomite kids. Cunning hunters. This is the thing. They love the field. Look where they at. Cunning hunter. Look at this, right? Yeah, so I just typed in black people having fun, which so-called black people or so-called African American, which are really actually the Jews, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Well, look what they're at home, right? Look, backyard little party at home, chilling. Plain man dwelling in. He's a plain man that dwell in a tent. He at home. That's his fun, right? You know, even if you go out somewhere else, you know, you chilling. Yeah, that's like a backyard party. You chill with little friends, whatever. Backyard party. That's how Jake like to get down. You know, not too far from from the house, and if you do go somewhere, you know, little block party or something, you know. But for the most part, Jake is gonna be at the house. This is how Jake have fun. The plain man dwelling in tents, man. Jake gonna be at the house to have fun. This yeah, we outside. This is our we outside. You know what I mean? Yeah. So right here, I just tapped in Latin people having fun. Look, like a little backyard party. You know, they down maybe like a little bar or something at the house. This I'm saying they chilling at the house. This is Israel is a plain man dwelling in tents, man. Backyard is showing you, you know what I mean? Chilling in the backyard, up at the house. See? You know, Nana, you know, the Thea, you know, and the little, you know, little daughter, Mija. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they chilling in the backyard. You know what I mean? And occasionally, you know, it be them, and then you know, Jake. You know, Jake got to be somewhere. You know, Southern Kingdom will be over there somewhere chilling with them too. You know, cause we the same people. Yeah, see, backyard chilling. Kids in the backyard. We a plain man dwelling in tents. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and same thing with the Native Americans, right? So these Native Americans, normally they have their little powwows, and normally they have their powwows within their community. And then sometimes they will go to other native communities to have powwows with them, but it's still within their community, so which is basically their backyard, right? So when they do have these powwows, normally it's within their backyard. They go out within their neighborhood, normally their backyard, in their what the white men deem to be the reservation, right? And they'll dance right there on the reservation, having a powwow, right? Which is basically a plain man that dwelleth in tent, right next to his house. And actually, when you deal with the Native Americans, they actually lived in actual tents. And a tent, you know, these days you know your tent is to be with your house, but back then that was their house, their tent, going back to when Moses delivered the nation of Israel out of Egypt, and we dwelt what? In tents. Which is, you know, exactly why Esau got Yaquabbed by our father, which his name was Yaquab, right? Right, supplanter. So it says, and Jacob soldered pottage, right, making some soup or whatever. And Esau came from the field, right, because he's a man of the field, out there hunting. And he was faint, so he, it was drained his energy. The sun was really hot that day. He must have been away from some water or something, like he wasn't hydrated enough. He just went out and didn't hydrate himself. You know what I mean? So he's really like, depleted, drained. And then he's walking back. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee," which means like I beg you or please, right? I beg of you, basically. It's like I pray thee, like he's begging of him. With the same red pottage. So this pottage was red. So this is when, we'll get to. For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So this is when his name got changed from Esau to Edom because of the red pottage, which is red, Ashashua, which is red, right? Which even when he was born, he was red all over. But this is when it was specifically put on him to be called Edom. And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold," which means look, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, "Swear," right? Make an oath, promised. "To me this day, right now." And he swore to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob, man. And right there he got Yaquab, right? And this is why we call him Esau, or you call him Edom, right? To this very day. Then Jacob gave Esau, right? Or Edom, you can call Esau or Edom, gave Esau bread and pottage and lentils. Right? And he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way, and Esau despised his birthright. See, and this is why these Edomites or Esau, they hate you, Jakes, because they sold their birthright. Their father sold their birthright. He despised it, right? I mean, I gotta look that up. Yeah, so I looked up the Sodden, but they got Sodden, and Sodden is heavily lumpy or sluggy as food that is poorly cooked. Right? So then I went down a little bit more, and it says heavy or doughy because of imperfect cooking. So basically Jacob didn't even finish cooking it, and Esau was like, "I just want it. Let me get it." Ate it. Sold his birthright for this, for some imperfect cooked food. It says heavily lumped, soggy as food that is poorly cooked. Let's see if we can see what else it says. extremely wet. So, yeah, so basically it was poorly cooked lentils. Right? Yeah, so this is Genesis 27 and 38. And Esau said unto his father, Has thus but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also. But he sold his birthright. He sold it. He despised it. Now he's looking for a blessing. Right? Oh, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So he's crying like a little bi. You know what I mean, right? But he sold his birthright. He despised it. Right? And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him. So this is these characteristics that you know who the self-proclaimed so-called white man is, man. So it said he came out a Joshua, right? Pale. Red all over like a hairy garment. Right? Came out red all over like a hairy garment. Like a garment that's dyed red. So he's red. But then he called him a Joshua, which means pale, wasted away. No darkness to his skin. Right? Because even when you go into babies, when they light, you always look at the tips of the ears. And that would tell you what color the baby's going to become. Right? He didn't even have that. Right? So you knew it, wasted away is he. But he was red all over like a hairy garment. Right? So it says, and Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Blessed, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So he said, hey, look, you want a blessing? Hey, look, this is what we could do for you. Your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So you're going to be able to rule over the entire earth. So that's how you know that we're at the end of this thing, because Esau is literally ruling the entire earth, dealing with the main Edomite, which is Amalek, with their Rothschild central banks, right? In every place in the world. So which means that's the fatness of the earth, right? So said will this be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven, right? I remember a while back ago, they said it was a California man and a Texas woman, or vice versa, however it go. But it was two individuals. One lived in Texas, one lived in California, and they were collecting rainwater. And it was told, I mean, I don't know how true this was, that the feds or whatever, some type of government entity came, knocked at the door, and said, we noticed your water intake from your house ain't up to regular standards of someone who lives in a house operating using water. And I guess both individuals say, yeah, because I collect the rainwater, I use it to bathe and drink and other things. And they said, no, you have to dump that out because that belongs to us, to the government, right? And they were puzzled because the rain comes from the sky. It's supposed to be God. And they basically told him that, man, God created the sky. It comes down. He said, no, we own the sky. So you cannot collect rainwater or we would throw you in jail. So they had to dump out the water, right? Which proved that's from the dew of heaven up in heaven above, and by the sword, right? Because every place they've ever dwelt since the time of the Greeks, them coming into power during the time of the Greeks, right? All they've been doing is leading and conquering by the sword, right? So it says, by the sword thus shall live, right? How did they get America? How did they get Canada, South America? By the sword. And the modern day sword is the gun, because once they came out with something they could use to powder and be able to shoot out what do you call it? An object. I'll just say that, with the power of force of this powder that later now is called gunpowder, right? And trajectory out a object that'll kill you. No more bows and arrows and actually having to get up on your enemy with a sword, right? Right? Because that's part of being what? A cunning hunter. Now I could shoot you from far away. I could put on this camel gear to blend in with the environment. I mean, Esau goes as far as actually putting deer's piss on him. Right? Just so you don't throw the sin off. And that, you know what I'm saying? You understand that that's someone willing to take it that far. A true cunning hunter, man, who's ready to take it to that next level. So it says, by the sword shall thus live, and shall serve thy brother, right? During the time of King David, during the time of Solomon, then, even generations after Solomon, Rehoboam, a couple of Rehoboam's sons, so on and so forth, and then eventually, right, thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass that thus shall have dominion, right, rulership. After a while, they broke off from the children of David. Then they went into slavery again during the fall of Rome, the first half of Rome, and went into slavery again. Not all of them, but a good portion, but not all the Edomites, because when the second coming of Yahushua, every single Edomite is going to be in slavery. It's not going to be a portion or just a couple of tribes of Edom. It's going to be all of Edom. So at that time, before the Renaissance, a portion of Edom was in slavery. But then they broke off again, came back. Now they're the second leg of Rome, ruling once again, having what? Dominion, that thus shall break his yoke from off thy neck, right? And that's where they're at now. They're ruling the whole entire habited earth, right? Through these Rothschild central banks. And Edom hated Jacob, man. So he hates you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians with a passion. And he hates Jake the most, right? The so-called black man, because what? We're from the exact same tribe as Yahushua. The average so-called African-American man looks a lot like Yahushua, which means they look a lot like the Most High. And this is who the world hates. They hate the Most High, right? They hate the Most High. They hate his image. They hate his children, because his children are his image walking upon the earth. But hey, I mean, even so much that even other Jakes, other Israelites hate the so-called black man or the African American man, because he looks like Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? But it matter not, because the Most High is going to raise up all 12 tribes, right? And he's going to set up a standard that Judah should not vex Ephraim, and Ephraim should not be envious of Judah, right? So it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, lob his mind, right? Which every Edomite is saying that even to this very day. In his mind, right? As you've seen that Edomite do. hey, that's a hellified hatred. He said, which one of the little rappers do you like? Because you got the little Uzi, little little this, little that, little that. You know what I mean? Little, Little Wayne, little this, little that. All these little other rappers. So he said the guy, and I think he's just doing it to be funny. But at the same time, he's allowing this, even if it's a joke. This is the mentality of most of these Edomites. The Esau Edom, right? Right? Because of this is their mentality, because of the blessing that belongs to you. The kingdom of heaven is meant to be for you forever and ever and ever. But a lot of you jakes don't know that. So he said it in his heart or mind, right? Because your heart can't talk or say. So it says mind. The days of the mourning of my father are at hand, right? Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's ultimately what he's been doing to you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and especially to the so-called black man, because that's why the dude goes, which one of these little whatever, little yachties, little whatever freak rappers do you like? He said, well, which one of them died recently? That's his favorite. See, and you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians don't have that mentality. Because you should be your favorite Edomite is the one that died. Not that you caused it, but my favorite one is the one that died. That's what you gotta have. That's exactly what he said. You know what I'm saying? Right, so this is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 4. And I will lay thy cities waste, right? Which that's what the Lord said in Micah, right? He said the same thing. I will lay thy cities waste. So this is what the Lord is continually. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. And thus shall be desolate, and thus shall know that I am Yahweh. Yeah, so this is Malachi chapter 1 and verse 2. I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, right, you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, ye say, wherein has thus loved us, right? You in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations, you're getting gunned down, kidnapped, put into child sex slaves, murdered, put into slavery, even to this very day. If you're not a sex slave, they're probably actually making you actual slaves, or they're actually murdering you out in broad daylight, or out at night, hanging you from trees, or carving your bodies up, taking your organs, right? To this very day. So you're like, hey, when has the Lord loved us? They done put crack and heroin and all sorts of drugs and diseases in our neighborhoods just to kill us. They make the foods to kill us, right? That scientists said that they genetically modify the food to where when a black person eats it, it sends off other different endorphins so that it attacks your body different than would it do any other ethnicity, which a lot of you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian have the same DNA because you're the Israelites. So it attacks your body too. So that's why you're the ones with the diabetes, the gout, all these different ailments that the Lord said that you should eat the foul food amongst the heathen, right? Because you're the Israelites, right? It says, so the Lord says, was not Esau Jacob's brother? So going back to, hey, Esau and Jacob. Esau was the firstborn, came out red all over, like in hairy garment. They called him Ashashua. Later on, he ate that red porridge, right? Called him Edom. Was not Esau Jacob's brother, right? Saith Yahweh, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. The Lord hated Esau. Why? Because he sold his birthright. He despised his birthright. So the Lord hates him, but really it's even before that. Before before they even left the mother's womb. The Lord decided that, right? And laid his mountains and heritage waste. Your cities, that's your mountain, your heritage, your mountain, your governments, your cities, your heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness, right? Leaving it to the doleful creatures. The Lord's gonna lay America waste and gonna leave it for the doleful creatures, man. It says in Romans 9:10, and not only this, but when Rebecca, right, which is our mother, was also had conceived, Salakia, has also when and not only this, but when Rebecca also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, right? One seed, one nation, one blessing to the same children, the bloodline. Why everybody think you could just come in and say you believe? No, you can't. You cannot. For the children, right? Because two nations are in that womb, two manner of people, being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. So Jacob didn't do good, Jacob didn't do evil. Esau didn't do good, Esau didn't do evil. That the purpose of the Most High according to election, which election means it's predestined. He already chose it, right? Predestination might stand. And then the Lord just told you right now, he said, I loved Jacob and I hated Esau. So that's the predestination, that he loved Jacob and hated Esau. That's it. That's the predestination right there for you. Not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder, right, which is Esau, shall serve the younger, which is slavery. To what? To Jacob, which is the younger. So Esau is to go into slavery unto Jacob. And if you're going into slavery and then you're busting the bonds every time, that's not a full fulfillment of that. So that's why you got to wait this last 1,000 years. You're going to go into slavery and you're not going to be able to take that up off you. That's the actual fulfillment of that. And that's why after that, we got an Obadiah 1 and 18 you. Right? As it was written, here we go again, right? Reiterating it. And the Lord really don't have to reiterate. But when he does, you could take that to the bank in a sense. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said 2 to 3 witnesses, and this is 2 witnesses right here. In 2 different time periods. Yep. And he reiterated it, right? As it is written, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? What are we going to say then? When the Lord already declared it, it's already by election. It's already predestined that the Lord was going to love Jacob, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and he was going to hate Esau, the self-proclaimed so-called white man. Hate him, right? So what can we say then? What can you say then? Whether you're so-called Israelite and you, but God made people. Well, why would He make them then? What can you say when it's the power, man? Right? You can't say nothing. This is his show. He runs this. Not you, not me, not nobody. The Lord take you out like that. It don't mean nothing to Him. You know what I mean? Is there unrighteousness in the Most High? The Most High forbid. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai forbid. There's no unrighteousness in Him. Right? Right? And the Lord's going to prove why there's no unrighteousness in Him. It says Ezekiel chapter 35, and this is technically even before they even did anything. But let's add the additional of the things that they did do. Right? So let's add this, because he said that in his mind, Lob, that he wanted to slay his brother when the mourning of his father is done. So this is his descendants still carrying out that same mentality, because thus has had a perpetual hatred. See, the Lord said he loved Jacob. So if you got a perpetual hatred towards what the Lord loves, the Lord is going to hate you. But then the Lord saying it's not even because of that. It's already predestinated the love and the hate. But let's add on that you hate what I love. Because thus has had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, by the force of the sword, right? Because it said that he was going to rule by the sword. He was going to come in as the Greeks and conquer and rule. And, the Lord kind of let that fall off. The Greeks, they came back as the Roman Empire, and they were really tearing things up, right? As the Roman Empire, right? Fell for a little while. Their little 1,000-year series that they fell off, out in the Caucasus Mountains, eating the dust, beraying, sounding like a goddamn a jackass, right? Which is a donkey, beraying. That's what a donkey does, making noise, like little dogs, right? The dust, the confusion at the time, because that has to be confusion for you to berate and like you went from being a man who could talk, who could speak 3 different languages, to now you're just yeah, right? That's why you want to feed that BS of caveman. You were the only caveman, man. From Mount Seir to the Caucasus Mountains, you're the only caveman, right? But to get to what I'm saying, because I get mad and but yeah, by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And I know other brothers, they think of other different things, but my thing I think of is the main thing. Well, I guess they continually did it because when they so-called emancipated you, they let you go so-called free, but then they made new laws. If you're loitering, you go to jail, and if you go to jail and you have some type of contact with the police, it basically throws you back into slavery. So that was one. But my main thing is when we had our own communities, you talking about the 50s, the 60s, they brought in what? The heroin, the crack, the this and that. They brought in Martin Luther King to sell you a dream, a broken dream, right? They set up leaders, all these things, because hey, Jake was ready, right, at that time, right? Even, you had the Black Berets, the Black Panthers, you had the Brown Berets, you had the Native movements. So all of Israel was ready to be free, in a sense. They were looking, right? Instead of saying, yeah, you know what, you're right, you guys I'm gonna just tell you, y'all have a valid reason to want to be free because you guys are the Israelites. No, their thing was like, nah, we can't tell them that. We gotta put crack, drugs, heroin, we gotta do this, that, we gotta kill them, we gotta shoot them, we gotta do things, and we gotta put it off, and we gotta put it on the news and make them look like the bad. Let's make movies, pimps and this and that. Let's not show that they function, even though we've been function as a family in households forever, in the right manner, for quite some time. But through the movies, through the things, this and that to the point that even we believe that. You know what I mean? We believe the narrative, right? Black people, so-called black people, or which are really Israelites, are scared of other Israelites because of what we see on TV. You know what I'm saying? But it says, Shalakia, where was I at? Yeah, with the time that their iniquity had an end, because it could have been done, man. could have said we were the Israelites. We could have built everything else. Then all the rest of the world should have basically been sending wealth and money to us. Then we could have moved back into the land, Israel, and the thing would have flourished. And then we would have been keeping the law, statute, command. And then the whole world would have been in a better condition. There wouldn't be pollution. There wouldn't be a lot. I mean, that's the thing. But these things had to come to pass. This thing had to happen because the Lord said he's going to lay your mountain and your heritage waste. So it has to happen this way. So that's why the Lord said, look, therefore, as I live, because the Lord is a living power. He's not of clay and stones and things that can't talk or walk or move, right? That has no thought, right? They can't think, right? The things that people worship, all these different holidays, the Queen of Heaven and the fertility goddesses, and all the gods and goddesses, and this witchcraft that America, well, the world pushes really, right? Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See, blood is going to pursue you. So saith thus, sinneth thus, has not hated blood. See, you love to kill the children of Israel. It was a perpetual hatred, and you love to kill them. Even now, police officers are getting arrested, getting caught on body cam saying, we can't wait for the race wars. We can't wait to kill these niggers. But hey, you don't know that the Most High has plans for you. Right? The Most High has plans for you. Since thus has not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir, right? Because that's where they were at first, as a caveman in Mount Seir, and living in the caves in Mount Seir. Most desolate, right? Which is going into Esau, Edom. And cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth, right? So people that traveling, you're traveling, business travel, right? The Lord's going to shut all that down. Even if he used you to make a global pandemic, the Lord's still shutting it down, ultimately. And I will fill his mountains, your government, with his slain. See, remember Esau was saying that he was going to slay his brother when the mourning of his father is done? But the Lord said, that's okay, yeah. But I'm going to fill your mountains, your governments, your so-called programs, your space force. I'm gonna lay it with your slain men in thy hills, right? Your smaller governments, and in your valleys, right? Your little, the little communities that you're taking over, little villages or whatever you're taking over, villages. And in all thy rivers, right? Your source, your resources, your money, your power, your military, your rivers, shall thy fall that are slain with the sword, right? So you're just going to be completely, utterly desolate. And this is coming from the Most High. For I will make thee a perpetual desolation, and thy cities, right, shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. You're going to know that the Most High God, Yahweh, right, which means he is, or he exists, or the existing one, however you want to say it, Bahasham, by the name of Yahushai, his son, is going to make this all possible. Right? So call Lawyum Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakar Kodash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who were well, salutations to the Akim in the four winds, preaching the truth of sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence and a Baba ball.